lies and accusations, those are his biggest tools. And I see him do it in church. I see him do it all the time. It's through worship and thanksgiving that many of Satan's arrows are extinguished. When Satan throws an arrow at you, start praising him and it'll get thwarted, I promise you. The last thing is to live a life of fellowship. Vince mentioned it a while back about our victory is through our fellowship. That couldn't have been more true. When we start to find ourselves attacked, it's through our fellowship that we'll have victory. There's safety in numbers. There really is. When you're down, it's good to come. We started doing men's prayer about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it may be only 4 guys, but I'm telling you, the stuff that gets discussed in here, it's a safe place, so we don't talk about it. Don't ask me because I won't tell you. Unless you're a guy, you need to hear it. But what we discuss in here is stuff that us guys go through. And we leave it here, we pray over it, and I'll tell you, the last 2 weeks, we're supposed to pray at 6:30 to about 7:30-ish. And the last 2 Saturdays, we're here until 9 o'clock talking. Didn't even get into prayer because the conversation got so good. And so my point is, there's something about being in unity with fellow brothers that brings victory. There's fellowship, and that fellowship is victory, and that's true. The Bible says to resist the devil by walking in a right relationship with God, with the church. They pray for one another, they encourage one another, they pick one another up. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? When one of us are down, we're supposed to lift each other up. So what happens when we're all down? That's usually not the case. There's usually always one person that's got the strength to help the others. I've never seen a place where every single person was totally wiped out. There's somebody that has a little bit of power left in them somewhere. And I believe that God does that on purpose because he knows that we need each other. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 4, it says, though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Think about that. You come in here and pray by yourself, that's great. If you get a second guy in here and pray, it's even better. But man, you get 3, meaning Jesus, it's unbreakable. When 2 people come together in his midst, he says, there I am. That's what his word says. The master called the servant, you wicked servant. He said, I canceled all the debts of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servants just as I had on you? In his anger, his master turned him over to the jailers to be tortured until he should pay back all that he owed. This is how the Heavenly Father will treat each of us unless you forgive your brothers from your heart. Forgiveness amongst our brothers and sisters is highly important. I'm telling you, the Bible says, and you may want to say, well, God's loving and God will forgive me. But he says in his word, if you do not forgive others, he cannot forgive you. That is the word of God. He is a just God, whether you like it or not. If you don't forgive, you will never see eternity. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care if you lived a life of Christ, if you was Pope John Paul, or if you was Billy Graham all the way up until the day you die. If you do not have forgiveness for your brothers and sisters, you will not see eternity. That's the word of God. We have to understand that God's word is what it is. It's true, and it's faithful, and it's sharper than a two-edged sword. But from page 1 to the very end, it's all the word of God. Not some of it, but all of it. If he says it's bad, don't do it. If he says that if you do this and it brings this, trust him. If we do that, God will get us through. Last thing I want to say is, sadly, many of our leaders won't stand. They won't persevere when Satan attacks. That happens. A lot of our leaders will fail. They'll crush. They're like the hireling, the one who's only there for the pay. They flee the church. I'm not saying that's why I was leaving, because I'm not here for the pay. However, the good shepherd stands when the wolf comes. That was David. When the wolf came, David stood firm. That's what we are today. We as a church, we need to stand firm. We need to stand united, and we need to tell the devil that, you know what, you come with us, all you got. We're ready. Because it ain't in us that's going to do the attack, that's going to do the battle, it's his. Either way, we must come together and resist and persevere. The trial only lasts for a while. It's not going to be forever. Peter says the trial only lasts for a while. Their trials are temporary. They are probably temporary in time, but they are certainly temporary in comparison to eternity. That's true. Soon the King is coming, or we will leave this earth to go to the King shortly. Therefore, we should not lose our confidence. Peter comforts these Christians with he's telling them that with your trials, there comes comfort. James says, consider it joy when going through various trials. I hate that verse. That really good. I don't mean to hate the Word of God, but nobody likes to hear that. Oh, consider it to be joy when you go through trials. Your tire blows out on the highway. Praise the Lord. Yeah, right. Watch your car burn to the ground. Oh, thank you, Lord. It's not so easy. When life comes at you like it does, it's not easy to give God praise, but that's what we're going to do. I wanted to share this today because you need to realize that Satan is real. Satan is very real. And our society likes to tell you that that's hocus pocus stuff. No, it's real. Satan is real. The only reason I know this is before I became a Christian. I used to work with these people at this restaurant, and they invited me over there on the parties. Again, before I was a Christian, this is BC, before Christ. Like that. But I was over at their house, and they were drinking, they were having a get-together, playing cards. And one of them brought out a Ouija board. I didn't know anything about that thing, never seen it in my life. All I saw was Parker Bells. Hey, they make you too much. It's got to be decent. No. They pulled that board out, they started sitting in the Indian style with knees touched together, and they had this board, and they were doing their little, weird stuff, and man, something in me rose up, so you need to get out of here, you need to get out of here fast. I've never seen anything like it. I was all right with it for a minute while I was watching, but then they said, well, hey, listen, they just happened to live across the street from a cemetery, and they were going to go over to a friend's cemetery plot, and they were going to go see if they can talk to him. Now, they played it like it was just a game. They didn't realize what they were getting into. Just like many of us, we don't realize the stuff that we allow in our lives. We don't realize how destroying it is. We don't realize how just a simple bad way of thinking against a brother or a sister, how it can destroy not just the next Sunday service, but destroy the life of not only your own, but of the other. And it also hinders the life of the church and what God wants to do through the church. We have to be on guard and protected at all times against Satan and his schemes, not just in the church, but individually. We have to realize that Satan only wants to do nothing else but to destroy you. Those of you that went to camp this last week, I guarantee you, and I'm telling you this because you're men and women of God. You're not kids. You guys have the knowledge that God has given you to get through this. I'm telling you that Jesus is all you need. Jesus is your authority of all things. And in his name, profess his name, Jesus, you have authority over everything. But I will tell you, you all had a great week last week. But I'm not proclaiming this. I'm just telling you, I know Satan and I know his scheme. He will be attacked this week. And I'm telling you to be on guard, protect yourself, and don't let Satan rob you of what you got last week. You guys want to continue this, I call it residue. The residue at camp, the spiritual residue that happened in camp. You guys are responsible for keeping that aflame. The only way you keep it aflame is you keep yourself in the Word. You begin to pray every day. Today is July 2nd, right? So we're a day behind. I declare that we take 21 days. For the next 21 days, so until July 22nd, we all make a pledge to read the Word and we pray every day. Every one of us. If you've never read the Bible before, go online and look up the Message version because it's the easiest one to read and it'll make more sense to you at first. But if we'll make a declaration to read the Word and to pray every day, each one of us, I promise you our woes will be gone. I promise you the stuff that we worry about what goes on in this church will be gone. I promise you the torment, the stuff that you go through. Now, will you struggle through this? Yes. You think Satan's going to sit back and just let you read? Heck no. He will come at you with all he can. But if you will remain faithful and you will stick with this, if you got to do it in groups, whatever you got to do, if you will be faithful in seeking him and pursuing him, Satan will lose his grip. And that's what we're going to do as a church. If you can stand with me, we're going to pray. Actually, I want everybody to come up front. We're going to unite by hands. God has given each and every one of us our warfare battle tools. It's right here. If you notice in Ephesians, when he talks about the armor of God, he tells everybody to put on the helmet of salvation. You know what? When the enemy comes from above, nothing can take you down because you've already been saved. Your salvation is that's your protection. He tells you to put helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, your feet shod with the gospel of peace. Everywhere you walk, the Word of God is going to be your walk. Everywhere you go, the Word of God will guide your steps. That's what that means. Helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, feet shod with the gospel of peace. And you gird your loins with belt of truth. And out of all that stuff, that's all protected. But the one thing that God gives us that's offensive is the Word of God. If you notice when Jesus was being tormented by the Satan, when he took him around for those 40 days and 40 nights, what was the first thing he said? Satan said, hey, if you're really the Son of God, jump off this cliff. And, before he says, Satan quoted the word back to Jesus. He said, well, it says in his word that you do this and don't do that. Well, Jesus combated the enemy by using the Word of God. He said, it is written. In my Father's Word, he says, it is written. Blah, blah, blah. And he would, every time Satan attacks, we shout out his word. That's the only method of attack that we have against the enemy is this. When the enemy fights, you rise up his word. And I'm telling you, this fear has lost its ground. It's lost its grip in our society. But it ain't going to lose its grip in our church. If we're the only church in this community that still holds this as being our lamp and our guide and our sword to fight against the schemes of the enemy, so be it. This church isn't out. God is just waiting on us to get a belly full and say, you know what, enough's enough. And I'm praying that today's that day. I'm done. I'm done having the enemy fight me. I'm done having a mental attack. I was sitting here yesterday, sometime this week. I was thinking, it's like, Peter, there's a point where Peter goes to Jesus and says, Lord, he says, we've laid up everything to follow him. He said, what's in it for me? And I was literally in tears. I'm like, God, you were here in 2010 when you called me to move to Alaska, and we walked away from our home. I walked away from a good job. My wife stayed home. She homeschooled. We had the perfect life that most men would dream of. And I yanked everybody out to follow God. And when I got there, God blessed us. It was so overwhelming that it was God's will. So we make this next decision. Well, this is easy now. He did it before. He'll do it again. So we come back, and we have been under such opposition since the day we got back from Indiana. And you get to a point where he's like, God, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? God, I've served you. I've laid it all out for you. But there's a point where God wants to, it's another level of strength, and he's like, I want to see how much you can take. How much beating can you take and still stand for me? And I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but in a way I feel like that's what it's been. He's been rising us together, allowing Satan to just kind of rule and reign. He wants to see what this church is made of. I believe we're made of men and women of God. And this right here is our source. This right here is our tools. And there ain't no other way. There ain't nobody's ideas in here that's going to get us through but this. Me as a pastor, my wife as a co-pastor with me, we only have one desire, and that's to follow God and to lead this church where God desires it to go. Amen. Now the enemy may try to get in and not. I'm just saying the enemy's going to fight with that. He don't want us to lead. If he can keep us divided, which he's done his darndest to do, he will. And we have an obligation to protect each other. Y'all pray for us. We need to be praying for you. And there's protection in numbers. And the moment any one of you feel like, hey, I think I'm not gonna. We need to stay together. We need to stay in the fold. Stay close. But as we do right now, we're going to pray. And we're going to take authority over Satan. We're going to take our church back. Don't you want this church back? I want it. I don't even know the history. I think I was telling Vinny this. I don't know the history of this church. I really don't care. I don't know what started it. It don't matter. All I know is the church today, this is a new church. Start today is a new church. If we got to call Victory Fellowship, because we got the victory over Victory Fellowship, whatever. This is our new day. And that's what I want to do. So we're going to pray, and we're going to take authority. If we can do this together, and when you walk away, be on guard. Walk away watching and praying, because you know the enemy's going to fight. You don't like this. He's not in here right now because we kicked him out. you walk out the door, he's going to be huddled around your car. I'm going to confess something real quick. I've never shared this with anybody. I think I have heard. I used to struggle with pornography a lot. And I used to drive a truck down to Louisville. Once in a while, the company I worked for, they'd have me drive down to Louisville to do routes down there. I got them to let me drive my car, and they just paid me mileage. I make any money off of that. Well, every once in a while, I would drive down the highway, and there would be this little spot near the border. It was an adult store. And I've only been in there twice. I was a man of God. And I wasn't a pastor then, but this temptation was so strong. I know what it's like to be attacked and not know what to do. This temptation was so strong, I gave in. Remember the first time I went in, I walked in the door and I realized I shouldn't have been there and I left. And it was like a few weeks later, I'm down on the highway again and just, man, it's like Satan just turned my steering wheel right into the parking lot. I just had no, I didn't take the authority that I was given to overcome. And I go in there, and I went a lot further in the second time than I did the first time. But then God got hold of me. He literally ate me out of there. And I thank God for that. But when God showed me, He opened my eyes. My wife thinks that I don't have as much discernment as her. She sees into the spiritual realm a lot better than I do. And that's God's gift to some people. God gives some people discernments and He doesn't others. But when I walked out the door, God showed me, and I wish I could paint the picture because I framed it and I put it in my office as a reminder of God's grace. But He showed me demons hanging on the corners of the building, with 2 feet hanging on the edge and reaching out and grabbing people, and on the sign out front, demons hanging off and their arms were leaping over into the traffic, and it was just this whole place just surrounded by these ugly, horrible demons. But I didn't see that when I went in, but when I walked out, I did. And what I'm telling you is, we don't see in the spiritual realm as much, but I'm telling you that Satan is real, and he is ugly, and he is destructive, and he wants to kill. But God has given us a way out. He's given us authority. So I share that with you because I'm a man like everybody else, and we all struggle with our temptations. But I thank God that He showed me that, because I've never ever stepped foot in all those places again. I won't ever, because I saw it. I can't get that out of my mind. That's not the only place that those demons exist. They exist around bars. They exist around, paint shops, whatever. I'm just saying, no matter what it is, that's what we see. So let's just pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just come to you today, Lord. Lord, we thank you, Lord, that you love us, Lord. Lord, there's so much more to this world and the spiritual things that, Lord, we really don't all understand. Lord, I know one thing is for sure, that you love us. You have sent your Son to die on the cross for us. And Lord, you've taken the Spirit of your Son and resided him inside of us. And Lord, now we have this Holy Spirit, Lord, that is your Spirit, Lord, that resides within us, Lord, that desires to speak to us and to guide us and to lead us through this horrid life, this horrid place that we live, Lord. Lord, this isn't our end place, Lord. You have a place stored for us, Lord. Your word says that you have a place prepared for us, Lord, and that you will come again, and Lord, that you're going to take us home. But Lord, the only way that we can navigate through this wretched place that we live in, Lord, is through your guidance, Lord, and through your word. Lord, we live in a place that the enemy is all around, Lord. We're like in this wilderness where there's lions and there's wolves and there's everything out there is out to get us. But Lord, you give us a way through. Lord, you give us armor that protects us from those schemes. Lord, you give us the words to speak to get ourselves through troubles. Lord, I pray that today, Lord, that we take up this armor of God, Lord, that you've given us, Lord, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, our feet shod with the gospel of peace, Lord, and you would gird our loins with the belt of truth. Lord, that you would put the spiritual God armor on each of us. And Lord, as we walk out of here, Lord, we know Satan's not in here now because you're here. Lord, as we walk out the door, Lord, I pray we will walk out with our battle cry. Lord, I pray that each and every person, whether little Christopher all the way up to, I'm not going to pick who's oldest, but Lord, I just pray that every single one of us will walk out with our war cry. And when we walk out on the offensive, Lord, that we will no longer be crowded up like a little wounded child, but Lord, that we will walk in the authority that you've given us. When we see our sister being attacked, that we would all rise up with a war cry and say, how dare you get away? And Lord, that when we find ourselves offended by our sister, Lord, or brother, Lord, that we would rise up and go to them and not allow Satan to have his way in dividing, and that we will each individually do all we can to protect from being the entry and the doorway. Lord, I pray that the only doorway that will exist in this church is through the Word of God and through you. And Lord, I pray that you would just touch each and every one of us. Satan, in the name of Jesus, right now, we as Victory Fellowship Church of God, me as pastor, my wife as co-pastor, and each and every single person in this church that is members of this church, we take authority over you today. No longer are you allowed to be in this place. You are not allowed here. We don't want you. You're a liar. You're a murderer. You're an accuser. And you are not to be in this place. So we take authority over you today. You are not allowed to be here again. We bind you. We command you to be gone in the name of Jesus. The Word of God says that whatever we bind on earth will be bound in heaven. And in Jesus' name we bind you and we command you to leave. In Jesus' name. It ain't our name that has the authority. It's the name of Jesus. You are not allowed in this place again. Lord, we dedicate this church to you, Lord. Lord, I'm tired of going through the motions, Lord. I'm tired of going and not seeing nothing, Lord. Lord, I pray you would touch each and every one of us, Lord, that we would have a belly full. Lord, that you would bring blessings and prosperity into this church. Lord, that we would no longer be constantly worried about everybody else, but Lord, we would just be worried about you. Protecting each other, lifting each other up. Lord, there's some of us that are struggling, some of us that are hurting. Lord, that you would just open our eyes. Help us to see this church the way you see it. Help us to see the community around us the way you see it. And Lord, that you equip each and every one of us. Lord, there's people in here that are called to preach. Lord, there's people in here that are called to prophesy. There's people in here that are called for a spirit and the gift of healing. Lord, I know you want to do a mighty work in this place. And Lord, I pray you would make it happen today, Lord, that it would begin. Lord, I'm thankful, Lord, that these kids went to camp this last week, Lord. Lord, I can't remember the numbers, but it was a lot of people 33 people got saved over the camp. Praise God, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Satan got a black eye last week, and I thank you, Lord, for that. Well, Lord, I just pray you would rise together with us, Lord, as we reunite, Lord, as we take this declaration, Lord. Lord, I pray this wouldn't be just lip service, but Lord, it would be embedded in our hearts, Lord, that we would walk out of here with our battle cry, Lord, with our fighting attitude, Lord. We will no longer be conquerors, or conquerors, but be conquerors. Lord, I pray for each and every one of us today, Lord, if there's some that are struggling with addiction, Lord, or whatever the stuff is I mentioned and the things that I didn't mention. Whatever temptations that have been lying against each and every one of us that Satan has laid outside the doorways, Lord, I pray that it would be gone. And Lord, I just pray that each and every one of us would just be, when we just focus on you, that you would give us an attitude of prayer, create an atmosphere of worship and an atmosphere of thanksgiving and just that we would desire to be in your presence. Lord, I pray for our worship team and our worship leader, Lord. Lord, I pray the stuff that they go against, Lord. Lord, if anybody's to be attacked in this church, it's the worship team and the pastor. Because if you take the head, the tail don't have nowhere to go. And Lord, I pray for our worship team, Lord, who is to go in front of us in battles, Lord. I pray that their war cry is far greater than any of ours. Lord, I pray that Hannah, as she leads worship, Lord, that she would have this uncontrollable anger towards the Lord, just like you have. And Lord, that she would begin to despise the schemes of the enemy, Lord. And Lord, that you would give her a gifting, Lord, and she would have a passion to worship you, Lord, far greater than anything she's ever seen. Lord, that she would see you push her aside and you take over in her life, Lord. And I pray the same for each and every member of this worship team, Lord. Lord, these are our Judah, Lord, and we just protect them, Lord. We ask that you would protect them, Lord, and we ask that you would just touch them, Lord. Lord, we give you praise, Lord. Praise you, Lord. We say all this in the name of Jesus. Everybody said? Amen. Go ahead and be seated for a minute. I got one more thing to do. I know it's late, but this is one of those days when it shouldn't matter. We just got to get this done. make this really fast. Hey, Brian, Elizabeth, Amos, everybody. You know, I remember when in 1994, I moved to Indianapolis and I met my wife. And when I met her, she was a Jesus freak like something else. I'm like, you know what? I met her, she was a neighbor, I had hots for her, I had nothing but impure desires. And I go and knock on the door, and she cracks the door open and begins to tell me about Jesus. Well, that's not what I wanted, not my thoughts. But through her dedication to spread the gospel to me, I got saved. She had grown me, so to speak. She knew me before I was me, and she knew all my past. But I've watched her over the years, since '94. Before that, she was a faithful person of God. I watched her go through struggles. She's always been by my side. But one thing about my wife is I've always admired her. I've always looked up to her because she has such a desire to have a relationship with God, something like I don't have. I want to be with God. I have a desire, but she actually walks through it. She don't just say it, she does it. I wake up every morning, she's in the closet praying, and she's reading, but you know, like all of us, she struggles. She has her miscomings. She has her faults. But I know one thing, my wife has been perseverant in everything. I remember when we moved to Alaska in 2010, we got with the Church of God, and they put us, as soon as I got there, Pastor Bobby immediately threw us in the camps, which Amber Vince and Keely is starting it now. And then we went to the MIP, and I had no idea. They didn't tell me that the MIP was horrible. It's not horrible, but it's hard. And we went through all this stuff. Now, that's just Church of God stuff. But the point is that all we did it for was to pursue what God had already put in our hearts. And that's to preach the gospel, and we wanted to be life changers in our ministry. Whatever capacity. If it means us loving on people, we just want to see people's lives turn for God. And God opened the door for us to get into the Church of God and get ordained and get ministered, licensing. Well, today, it's been here for a couple of weeks, but we're waiting. I get the privilege of giving my wife her minister's license today. Now, I know this is just formalities in the Church of God, but this is a huge milestone for her. And I can't wait until I get to do the same for Keely and Amber and Vince. Because equally, they will be as deserving as she is. It is just a piece of paper, yes. But what it is, it's a rite of passage. You know, in other religions, they have what they call a rite of passage. By her getting this license, it gives her the authority through the Church of God to preach the gospel. Not that she needs the Church of God's authority, because she had that from God. Amen. But this is a good milestone, and I'm proud of her, and I'm proud to be her husband. And she didn't have to do this. When I got my ordination, she had to go through all the schooling that I had to, just because I had to. Just like Vince and Amber, if Amber didn't want to pursue her minister's license, she don't have to, but she still has to do all the schooling if Vince was to get his. That's just the way the Church of God is. So she could have stopped, but she said no. She has equally right to get this certificate and be licensed as well, and she has a desire to preach the gospel. And I'm telling you, she hasn't been unleashed yet, but she's good. And I promise you, the enemy's going to fight her. She's going to fight you guys. But if you guys will unite with her, between her and you guys, there ain't no women group in this town that's going to be able to have anything. This is going to be a powerful thing. It wasn't the men that were at the tomb of Jesus when he was in the tomb. It was who? It was the women. It's important that these women in this church rise together, arm in arm, sister to sister, and not allow anything to come against. But I'm so excited that my wife came. I've never done one of these speeches, so it's kind of hard. But my wife, it says on here, I'm just going to read it. It says, Raysaundra Barnes is hereby certified as an exhorter of the Church of God with international offices at Cleveland, Tennessee, USA, and is therefore authorized to preach and defend the gospel of Jesus Christ and perform any other such ministerial duties as authorized by the International General Assembly of the Church of God. The certification confirmed by the Principal Office of said Church of God at Cleveland, 23rd May, 2017. I'll let her close.
I will say that the enemy has fought me over this. My husband asked me many years ago, I've been fought over this. We went to a church where they were baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit, and God taught me what I was seeing. And He basically opened my spiritual eyes and taught me and trained me. The enemy has fought me. Even back in about 2.5 years ago, my husband asked me if I could preach or if I could teach Bible study. And we had basically half of the church and the entire praise team leave because they did not believe in a woman ministering from the pulpit. But God, I will tell you that I am His, and I'm merely an instrument in His hands. I was sleeping. I got up to spend time with the Lord, and one of those mornings I was so tired, and I put Benny Hinn on, and this was way back when, and I was like, Lord, I'll just sit here and just pray, and the next thing you know, I was asleep. And I heard very vividly, very pronounced Psalm 45:1. And I'm like, what is that? And I heard it beyond a shadow of a doubt. You just heard my husband speaking. I heard Psalm 45:1. And I didn't even know what it was. I knew who it was, but I didn't know what the scripture was. And the scripture says, my heart overflows with the theme. I address my verses to the King. My tongue is the pen of the ready writer. So my prayer is that I would be His pen. David says it in another place. But my prayer is that I would be His pen to write on the hearts of the people that He has called me to minister to. Is the enemy going to fight? Yeah. But he can't win. He can't win. Jesus said,